You've got to understand something. The biggest obstacle standing between you and the life you want is the weaker version of yourself. That part of you that says, it's okay to settle, or maybe tomorrow, or I'm not ready yet. We all have that voice. But let me tell you, if you keep listening to it, you're going to wake up one day and realize you've missed your chance. You're going to find out that the dreams you had, the goals you wanted to achieve, slipped away because you kept letting the weaker part of you take control. Now here's the truth. If you want to change your life, you've got to eliminate that weaker version of yourself. You've got to stop letting fear, procrastination, and comfort keep you from what you want. Success doesn't come to those who wait for the right moment. It comes to those who get serious about their future and make the tough decisions, even when it's hard. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. Remember, success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. That's it. It's simple, but it's not easy. The key is to recognize that the part of you that wants to take the easy road, the part that resists change, that part has to go. You have to make the decision to show up for your life, to push through discomfort, to become the person who doesn't make excuses but gets things done. And that starts today, right now. When you eliminate the weaker version of yourself, you open the door to everything you've ever wanted. So stick with me, because we're about to get serious and make some real changes in your life. Number one, recognize there are two versions of you. If you want things to finally change, you've got to face something most people ignore. There's a side of you that wants to rise, and there's a side of you that always pulls back. One wants you to become more, and the other is fine with staying the same. And every day, whether you know it or not, you're choosing which one is in charge. See, the problem isn't that you don't have goals. It's not that you don't want to improve. The problem is that you haven't fully understood what's been working against you. It's not your job. It's not your background. It's not even other people. It's the version of you that keeps showing up with the wrong mindset, the wrong attitude, and the wrong effort. The version that's more committed to being comfortable than being capable. And until you recognize that this version lives inside you right now, you'll keep wondering why nothing ever sticks, why motivation dies off, why you start strong but finish weak. It's because a weaker version of you is still running the show, and you've been letting it. You've been reasoning with it. You've been giving it permission to lead. And when that happens, your potential gets buried under hesitation, doubt, and delay. If you're tired of feeling like you're always starting over, if you're frustrated because you know there's more in you, but you can't seem to bring it out, you're in the right place. Because everything changes the moment you stop lying to yourself and start being honest about what's really going on. Let's make something clear. No one wakes up full of confidence and fire every day. That's not how it works. Growth isn't a mood, it's a decision. And that decision has to be made every single day. You have to decide which version of you is going to run your life today. And if you don't make that choice on purpose, the weaker version wins by default. It loves when you're passive. It loves when you delay. It thrives on indecision and comfort. It's been trained by years of playing small, avoiding responsibility, blaming everything except the truth. And it doesn't just fade away on its own. It has to be replaced step by step, choice by choice, with a better, stronger version of you. That stronger version isn't born out of some sudden motivation or perfect moment. It comes from doing the hard things when they don't feel good. It's built in silence, in discipline, in doing what you said you would do, even when you don't feel like it. And every time you make that choice, you chip away at the part of you that wants to settle. You make the stronger version louder. You give it space to grow. You stop being controlled by fear, by insecurity, by excuses, and you start taking your power back. This isn't about being perfect. Nobody is. But it is about getting real. Because if you don't get real with yourself, no change will ever last. You'll just keep bouncing between motivation and disappointment, between high hopes and low standards. That's not growth. That's emotional roller coasters. Growth is steady, it's calm, it's built on truth and responsibility. And that starts with recognizing what's really holding you back. It's not out there, it's inside. And the good news is, you can do something about it. Now, I know what some people think. This is just who I am. No, that's just who you've been. That weaker version of you might be familiar, but it's not permanent, it's just a pattern. And patterns can be broken, but only if you stop accepting them. Only if you stop saying it's fine when it's clearly not. Only if you stop pretending that average is okay with you, because it's not. That's why you feel restless. That's why you're still watching this, because deep down, you know you were meant for more than what you've been settling for. And here's what matters. Your future doesn't care about your past. It doesn't care how many times you've failed. It doesn't care how long you've been stuck. It only cares about what you're going to do today, right now. That's what matters. You can keep handing the keys to the weaker version of you, or you can take the wheel and start showing up like someone who's serious about their life. This shift, it's not loud, it's quiet. It happens when you decide that the excuses stop now. That discipline takes over, that progress matters more than feelings, that honesty matters more than comfort. It happens when you stop looking for the easy way and start doing the necessary thing. That's when your life starts to move. That's when you start to feel proud of who you are becoming. You're not lazy, you're not broken. You're just in a pattern that favors your weaker self. And today, that can end, not because someone gave you permission, but because you finally gave it to yourself. You don't have to keep repeating the same cycle. You don't have to keep waiting for the right time. You don't have to live another day disconnected from your potential. You can decide right now that today, the stronger you gets the lead. And once you do that, once you truly make that shift, you won't go back. Because nothing feels better than seeing who you're becoming. Nothing gives you more energy than knowing you're finally showing up for your own life. And nothing builds belief faster than proving to yourself that you're no longer controlled by the part of you that wanted to settle. The weaker self, it might still whisper, but after today, it won't be in charge anymore. If you're ready for the next part, we'll go deeper. Because this is just the beginning, keep watching, because everything you need to move forward is waiting right here. Number 2, understand what the weaker self does to you. There is a force inside you that works quietly, day after day, shaping the way you live and the way you feel about yourself. This force operates in subtle ways, often without you even noticing, until you begin to look for it. It acts like a slow current, pulling you away from your goals and dreams, leading you to settle for less than what you truly deserve. Every time you decide not to push yourself a little further, every time you choose the easy way out, you are letting this force take over a bit more of your life. It does not shout or make a big fuss. It simply weaves itself into your routine until it becomes the default way of being. When you understand what this force does to you, you start to see the real impact of your everyday choices. Imagine waking up in the morning with a sense of potential, only to find that your day has slipped away because you kept hitting the snooze button or allowed distractions to derail your plans. That feeling of regret, of watching time pass by without meaningful progress, is the work of this force. It makes promises that comfort will come later and that postponement is acceptable. It convinces you that a small moment of relaxation now is worth sacrificing your dreams. But each small decision builds upon the last, creating a pattern that controls your future. It molds your habits until you no longer even recognize the possibilities that lie ahead, replacing them with excuses and justification. When you allow this force to dominate, you start to see yourself as someone who is unable to change, as someone who is simply not cut out for growth. It chips away at your self-respect, making you believe that mediocrity is the best you can achieve. You may find yourself stuck in a cycle where every missed opportunity reinforces the idea that progress is too hard to chase, that real change is just out of reach. It feeds on your doubts, making you believe that the obstacles in your way are insurmountable. Every time you let yourself be swayed by comfort instead of challenge, you are giving this force more power. It becomes a barrier between you and the life you could lead, ensuring that the version of you that strives for greatness is gradually silenced by the one that always seeks to stay in its comfort zone. This force is not an external enemy, but an internal habit of thought and behavior that you have developed over the years. It makes you question your worth and your ability to overcome adversity. When faced with a new challenge or a chance to do something better, it whispers doubts in your ear. It tells you that the task is too big, that you don't have what it takes, or that tomorrow will be a better day. As you listen to these whispers, you begin to see failure as inevitable, and you start to avoid taking risks or trying something new. The impact of this is profound. It creates a self-fulfilling prophecy where you never move forward because you already believe you won't succeed. The longer you let it operate unchecked, the more it ingrains itself into your behavior until it seems impossible to break free. When you observe your day-to-day life, you may notice that the moments you are most disappointed in are the ones where you allowed this force to dictate your actions. It is the reason why you settle for second best, why you hesitate when an opportunity knocks, and why you convince yourself that your current situation is all you will ever get. It quietly undermines your confidence, making you believe that the better version of yourself is nothing more than a distant dream rather than a real possibility. It creates a gap between who you are and who you could be. Recognizing this influence is a critical step, because once you see it clearly, you begin to understand why you have not reached your full potential. Your emotions play a significant role in this process. There is often a heavy feeling of disappointment that comes with the realization that you have once again allowed yourself to be controlled by something that holds you back. This disappointment is not meant to punish you, but to serve as a reminder of the difference between your aspirations and your actions. When you feel that ache, that dissatisfaction, it is a signal that you are ready for change. It tells you that there is a better version of you that deserves to lead your life, one that is bold, determined, and focused on progress. Recognizing the damage done by this force gives you the insight needed to start making different choices. Every moment is an opportunity to reclaim your time and your energy. It may feel like this force has been a constant companion for years, but every day offers a new chance to redirect your path. The key lies in understanding that every choice you make, no matter how small, contributes to a larger picture. When you choose action over comfort, you weaken the hold that this force has on you. When you choose progress over postponement, you start to build a foundation for a life filled with purpose and achievement. And as you see the effects of your choices reflected in your results, the belief in your ability to change becomes stronger, and the voice of doubt begins to fade away. Knowing how this force operates in your life is the first step toward breaking free from it. You have the power to change your habits, to replace old patterns with new, more productive ones, and to let the better version of you lead. It takes courage, determination, and a willingness to face the uncomfortable truths about yourself. But once you start down this path, you begin to see that every moment counts and that you are not bound by your past. You can choose to move forward, to embrace the challenges that come with growth, and to build a life that reflects the true potential within you. Remember, every action matters, and every decision is a step toward the future you deserve. Number 3, choose to stop protecting the weaker you. There is a moment when you have to face the truth about the part of you that clings to what is comfortable, even if it keeps you from reaching your full potential. I have spent many years studying human behavior and success. And what I have learned is that holding on to the side of you that resists change is a decision that you make every day. That part of you, which finds solace in old habits and familiar routines, may have been your friend at one time. It gave you a sense of security when everything else was uncertain. But as you grow and learn more about what you are truly capable of, that same part becomes a barrier that holds you back from achieving more, from stepping into a future filled with promise. The truth is that protecting the comfortable side of yourself is not about preserving who you are. It is about stopping the momentum of progress before it even begins. You see, life is a series of choices, and every choice builds upon the last. When you make a decision to shield the part of you that prefers ease, you are effectively choosing to remain in a state where nothing changes. Over time, this quiet defense of your past becomes the main voice in your life, muting the potential and drive that lie within you. And the longer you let it do so, the more you distance yourself from the person you could become. When you look back at your days, you might notice a pattern. Perhaps there were times when you wanted to try something new, to stretch beyond your comfort zone, but you held back because it seemed too hard or too risky. You made excuses, small reasons that seemed sensible at the moment, but they added up, creating an invisible wall between you and the success you dreamed of. It is not that you lacked ambition or drive. It is that you were protecting the part of you that is afraid of failure, afraid of the unknown, and afraid of the hard work that real change demands. This protective instinct might have served you well when you were starting out. But as you mature and your goals become more significant, it starts to become a heavy burden that stops you from moving forward. Real change begins when you realize that the comfort of the past is a trap. It is not a refuge, and it does not protect you from the challenges ahead. It merely keeps you in the same place. You must be willing to let go of what has become a crutch, a set of excuses that tells you that you are fine with what is comfortable, even if it is not what is best for you. Instead of defending the familiar, you must choose to let go of the old patterns that no longer serve you. This means acknowledging that every moment you spend clinging to the safety of what you know is a moment stolen from the possibility of something better. When you decide to stop defending that part of you, you begin to open the door to a new way of living. You start to see opportunities where before there were only obstacles. You begin to understand that the discomfort of change is not a punishment, but a sign that you are growing. It takes courage to abandon the habits that have kept you in a safe place. But that courage is the foundation of a life filled with achievement. You must realize that nothing worthwhile ever comes from staying in your comfort zone. The future is built on the decisions you make today. And the sooner you decide that the past will no longer dictate your future, the sooner you can step into a life that reflects the best version of yourself. I have seen many people transform their lives simply by making this one decision: to stop protecting the side of themselves that resists growth. Once you let go of that need for constant reassurance from the familiar, you begin to notice a shift. Your energy becomes more focused, your actions more deliberate, and your results start to speak for themselves. It is as if you are finally shedding an old skin and stepping into a new body of potential. Every decision you make from that point forward reinforces your commitment to progress. And slowly, you find that the voice of doubt is replaced by the sound of determination. This transformation is not sudden or dramatic. It is a gradual process that happens as you consistently choose to face your challenges head on. You deserve to experience the satisfaction that comes from knowing you are always moving forward, never held back by the weight of outdated habits. This is not about denying your past. It is about understanding that the past was just a stepping stone on the journey to a greater future. There is immense power in realizing that you have control over your own path. By releasing the need to protect what is comfortable, you allow yourself to become the master of your destiny. Your progress will be built on every small step taken, every obstacle overcome, and every decision made with the intention of growth rather than retreat. The decision to stop defending the part of you that clings to what is safe is one of the most liberating choices you can make. It sets you on a course where your potential is no longer limited by fear or habit. When you stop protecting the version of yourself that resists change, you welcome in a new era of possibility, one where every day is an opportunity to build a better future. You have the power to make this shift right now, to choose progress over comfort, and to step into a life where the best is yet to come. This is your moment to rise above the limitations of the past and to embrace the promise of what you can become. Number 4, stop rewarding yourself for doing the bare minimum. Every day is an opportunity to push yourself a little further than yesterday, and yet so many times you end up settling for what's easy instead of what builds you up. You may find that you give yourself a small pat on the back when you do the least amount possible, just enough to get by, and that becomes a habit that limits your growth. The habit of rewarding yourself for doing the bare minimum can feel comforting in the moment, but over time, it weakens your drive and keeps you stuck in the same place. When you make a habit of accepting mediocrity, you are essentially choosing a future where nothing ever truly changes. You have the potential to be extraordinary, but that potential remains untapped when you allow yourself to be satisfied with what is simply acceptable. It is important to recognize that every time you take the easy road, you are missing out on the chance to create something great. Instead of celebrating small efforts that barely scratch the surface of your capabilities, imagine what would happen if you set your sights on something that truly challenges you. When you reward yourself for only doing what is necessary, you inadvertently send a message to your mind that you don't need to try any harder. This creates a cycle of complacency where you begin to feel that minimal effort is all that is expected. In the long run, this mentality stops you from achieving the kind of success that comes from taking risks and putting in the extra work. When you become accustomed to this pattern, the extraordinary becomes ordinary, and your life slowly turns into a series of missed opportunities. Consider the moments when you have felt a surge of pride because you managed to complete a task, even if it was done with just enough energy to get by. That feeling is fleeting and leaves you wanting more. Yet you let it lull you into a false sense of satisfaction. When you allow yourself to be content with doing only the bare minimum, you are settling for less than what you truly deserve. The real reward lies in pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone, in taking on challenges that seem intimidating at first, but gradually reveal your hidden strengths. The satisfaction of knowing that you gave everything you had, rather than a fraction of it, is far more fulfilling and builds the kind of momentum that carries you forward. Your true capabilities are discovered only when you refuse to settle for less than your best. Every step you take beyond the minimum effort brings you closer to the person you aspire to be. It is essential to break free from the cycle of minimalism and to start valuing hard work as a tool for self-improvement. This means setting higher standards for yourself and not allowing any degree of mediocrity to be celebrated. When you catch yourself giving a little credit for just scraping by, pause and ask yourself if that is truly the kind of progress you want. Reflect on the moments when you felt genuinely proud of your achievements. Those were the times when you pushed past your limits and did something that truly mattered. Rewarding yourself should not be about acknowledging the bare minimum, but about recognizing the full effort that transforms your life. It is also vital to understand that the comfort of doing the least can be a seductive trap. The ease of minimal effort may feel safe, but it stifles creativity, ambition, and the drive to innovate. When you keep your expectations low, you create a life where challenges are few and growth is slow. True change happens when you raise your standards and commit to giving your best, regardless of how daunting the task might seem. The journey toward excellence is not paved with shortcuts or half-hearted attempts. It is built on a series of deliberate actions that add up over time. When you start to hold yourself accountable for going above and beyond, you unlock a power within that can change the course of your life. There is an undeniable energy that comes from putting in extra effort. It creates a sense of momentum that propels you forward, even in the face of difficulties. The rewards of pushing yourself are not just external. They change how you view yourself from the inside out. You begin to see that you are capable of so much more than you ever imagined, and that realization fuels further progress. Every time you choose to work harder, you are training your mind to expect more and settle for less. This shift in mindset is crucial because it transforms the way you approach challenges and opportunities alike. You must also realize that the habit of rewarding yourself for doing the bare minimum is something you have learned over time, often without even realizing it. It is a pattern ingrained in your behavior by past experiences where immediate comfort was prioritized over long-term gain. Breaking that pattern requires a conscious decision to hold yourself to a higher standard. It means redefining what success looks like for you and understanding that the little wins are stepping stones towards something much greater. When you stop praising yourself for the minimum and start celebrating every ounce of effort you put in, you create an environment in your mind that values hard work and persistence. The choice is yours. You can continue to reward yourself for merely getting by, or you can take a stand and decide that you are capable of so much more. The journey may be challenging, and the path may not always be smooth, but the rewards of a life lived fully and with purpose far outweigh the temporary comfort of minimal effort. This is your moment to embrace the challenge, to push past the easy and the familiar, and to step into a world where your potential is fully realized. Every decision you make from now on should be a reflection of the belief that you deserve nothing less than your best. With each extra effort you put in, you not only build a better future, but also redefine who you are at the very core of your being. Number 5, you can't keep starting over, start finishing. Every day is a new opportunity to prove that you are not defined by the habit of starting over, but by the strength it takes to see things through. There is a powerful shift that happens when you commit fully to finishing what you begin. It's not about perfection or waiting for the perfect moment. It's about moving forward even when the journey is tough. When you set your mind on finishing, you are choosing to stop wasting energy on endless restarts that drain your potential. Instead, you are building a reputation with yourself that you are someone who gets things done, no matter the obstacles. There is an unmatched satisfaction in the act of finishing because it means you have overcome hurdles, learned valuable lessons, and proved that your efforts matter. This mindset transforms every setback into a signal to start from scratch again. You might be tempted to abandon a project when the initial excitement fades, or when you face challenges that seem insurmountable. In those moments, it is easy to justify starting over, to convince yourself that a fresh beginning might bring better results. However, the truth is that each time you restart, you lose the hard-earned wisdom that came from the journey so far. That accumulated experience is like gold. It shows you what works and what doesn't, and it sharpens your skills for future challenges. The act of finishing is a powerful way to respect that learning process. By continuing on the path instead of wiping the slate clean every time, you reinforce your commitment to growth and improvement. You begin to see that progress is not about a flawless beginning, but about the perseverance to follow through to the end. When you choose to finish, you unlock a wellspring of inner strength and self-respect. There is an energy that builds with every completed task, a kind of momentum that propels you toward bigger and better goals. That momentum is a force that drives you to push past temporary discomforts, and it gradually transforms your entire approach to life. You begin to feel that each day you put in the effort, no matter how small the step, is a victory over the temptation to start over. Instead of looking back at unfinished projects with regret, you learn to appreciate the value of persistence. It is this persistence that cultivates confidence and a deep sense of accomplishment that fuels even greater ambition. Finishing what you start is a declaration that you value your time and energy. Every restart represents lost opportunity, wasted effort, and the fading of momentum. It is in the act of finishing that you show respect for yourself and your potential. Instead of letting challenges paralyze you, you let them empower you by turning obstacles into lessons that strengthen your resolve. You learn that every setback is temporary and every detour offers a chance to refine your skills. This is not about denying the difficulties that arise. It is about harnessing them as the very elements that forge your character. You begin to understand that a successful journey is not measured by how many times you start over, but by the quality of each step taken toward your goal. There is also a powerful psychological shift that comes from the decision to finish what you begin. It sends a clear message to your inner critic that you are in control of your destiny. You stop allowing doubts and fears to dictate your actions and start trusting in your ability to overcome adversity. With every challenge met and every project completed, you build an inner narrative of success that reinforces your commitment to your goals. This shift is more than just a change in habits. It is a transformation in the way you view yourself and your capabilities. You come to see that the process of finishing is not just about completing tasks. It's about building a life that is rich with achievement and self-worth. Every moment you spend on a project, every hour you invest in making progress, contributes to a larger story of success. You are not defined by the moments when you fell short, but by the many instances when you pushed through and kept going. The energy you generate from finishing creates a positive cycle, one that makes it easier to take on the next challenge with renewed vigor. It builds a legacy of discipline and determination that stands as a testament to your commitment to yourself. And that legacy is not only inspiring to you, but also to those who witness your journey. When others see the results of your dedication, they are reminded that true success is built on the courage to persist until the end. There is a simple truth that every successful person knows. The act of finishing is where real growth occurs. It is in the process of overcoming resistance and seeing a project through to completion that you find out what you are truly capable of. This is a journey that demands resilience and clarity, where each completed step is a celebration of your own potential. Instead of starting over repeatedly, you create a habit of finishing that propels you toward the future you have always envisioned. Embrace the challenge of staying the course, and let every finished task be a reminder that you are capable of greatness. The decision to finish is the decision to invest in your future, and that investment is the most valuable asset you can ever own. Number 6, the weaker you doesn't like responsibility. Take it anyway. Every day, a new chance to take charge of your life presents itself, and yet many of us shy away from responsibility because it feels heavy and demanding. There is a part of you that resists being held accountable, that prefers the ease of blaming circumstances or other people rather than facing the challenges head on. You may have experienced moments when the weight of responsibility seemed unbearable, when the idea of taking full control of your actions felt like a burden too difficult to bear. But deep inside, you know that this very act of stepping up and owning your choices is what separates those who live an ordinary life from those who achieve extraordinary results. It is not about avoiding the discomfort that comes with being responsible. It is about embracing that discomfort as the necessary fuel for true growth and success. When you decide to take responsibility, you are not just accepting the consequences of your actions. You are declaring that you have the power to shape your future. You are showing that you are willing to invest your time and energy into making things better, even when it is easier to let things slide. This choice is not made lightly, and it requires a strength that comes from understanding that every challenge is an opportunity in disguise. By taking responsibility, you are acknowledging that the outcome of your life is in your hands and that no external force or person can determine your path unless you allow it. It is a mindset shift that transforms obstacles into stepping stones and setbacks into lessons that propel you forward. There are times when the idea of being accountable might seem overwhelming. The prospect of having to face difficult situations without any excuse can be intimidating. However, every time you lean into that discomfort and take control of your actions, you build a foundation of trust with yourself. You start to realize that the discipline of being responsible is not a restriction, but a pathway to freedom. With each decision made and each task completed, you reinforce your ability to overcome challenges and set a higher standard for what you expect from yourself. This is a process that builds character and fosters a resilience that becomes a guiding force in all areas of your life. Imagine a scenario where you are faced with a significant challenge, a project that seems too large to tackle, or a problem that appears insurmountable. The easy path might be to ignore it or to pass the blame onto external factors. But the moment you decide to take ownership of the situation, you unleash a power that you may not have realized you possessed. Responsibility empowers you to break free from the cycle of excuses and limitations. Instead of feeling trapped by circumstances, you begin to see them as puzzles that are waiting to be solved. Each step you take toward resolving the issue reinforces the truth that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. This journey toward embracing responsibility is not about perfection or never making mistakes. It is about learning from each experience and understanding that every decision you make contributes to your overall progress. It is about recognizing that while the path of accountability may be challenging, it is also incredibly rewarding. When you take responsibility, you set yourself on a course where setbacks become temporary. And every mistake is an opportunity for improvement. This mindset opens up the door to a world where you are in control, where you are not limited by the actions of others or the unpredictability of life. Instead, you become the author of your own story, writing each chapter with determination and purpose. When you fully accept responsibility, you also begin to see how your actions influence those around you. Your commitment to being accountable can inspire others to take similar steps in their own lives. This creates a ripple effect that not only elevates your personal achievements, but also contributes to a culture of excellence and growth in your community. The impact of taking responsibility goes far beyond personal success. It has the power to transform the environment you live in, making it a place where people are motivated to strive for greatness. In this way, your willingness to be responsible becomes a catalyst for positive change, both for yourself and for those who look up to you. The choice to embrace responsibility is a declaration of self-respect. It means that you value yourself enough to take charge of your life, to stand by your decisions, and to learn from every outcome, good or bad. This path is not always the easiest one, and it demands courage and perseverance. Yet it is the very path that leads to real freedom, a life where you are no longer held back by the fear of accountability. Instead, you find strength in knowing that each day is an opportunity to build a legacy of resilience and achievement. The power to change your future lies in your hands. And the journey begins the moment you decide to stop avoiding responsibility and start using it as a tool to shape the life you truly deserve. Number 7, you're not tired, you're undisciplined. There are moments in life when you feel completely drained, as if every part of you is exhausted and can no longer muster the energy to face another challenge. But the truth is that what you experience is not simply about being tired. It is about a lack of discipline in how you manage your energy and your focus. When you think about it, the sensation of tiredness often masks a deeper issue, a habit of allowing distractions and momentary comforts to rule your day instead of adhering to a structure that fuels your progress. Instead of accepting fatigue as a permanent state, you have the opportunity to reclaim your power by shifting your mindset toward consistent, disciplined action. The idea here is simple. When you push past that feeling of weariness by committing to a routine that honors your goals, you not only overcome the temporary slump, but also build a resilience that propels you forward in every aspect of your life. Imagine a day when you wake up and feel that heavy weight, as if the energy you need has already been spent before you even begin. It might seem like your body and mind are screaming for rest, but if you dig a little deeper, you'll see that this tiredness is less about physical limitations and more about where you have been placing your priorities. When you allow your day to be dictated by fleeting moments of comfort, you fall into a cycle that reinforces the idea that you are incapable of more. That cycle becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy where every day is an excuse to do just enough to get by and nothing more. Yet within you lies the capacity to transform that energy, to redirect it towards something far more fulfilling and meaningful. Instead of accepting tiredness as a sign of weakness, recognize it as an indication that your discipline has been compromised, that you have given in to the temptation of immediate ease, rather than investing in the long-term benefits of hard work and structure. There is an incredible strength that comes from being disciplined, a strength that surpasses the temporary satisfaction of momentary comfort. When you choose to engage with your day intentionally, by setting small, deliberate actions that align with your larger goals, You create a ripple effect that energizes every part of your life. This isn't about forcing yourself into an unmanageable routine. It's about designing a day that works for you, where every task, no matter how small, is a step toward the life you envision. You have the power to change the narrative by deciding that tiredness is not an excuse, but a signal to restructure your habits. By focusing on what truly matters and aligning your actions with your deepest aspirations, you turn discipline into a source of energy rather than a constraint. It is important to realize that the feeling of exhaustion often comes from a place of resistance, a reluctance to put in the consistent effort that is necessary for growth. When you let yourself be overwhelmed by the thought of hard work, you start to believe that your current state is unchangeable. This belief creates a barrier that prevents you from taking the necessary steps to elevate your performance. However, every moment you choose to act despite feeling tired is a moment where you affirm your commitment to your own success. That decision to push forward, even when the allure of rest seems irresistible, is what separates those who merely dream from those who actually achieve their goals. The transformation begins when you start to see discipline not as an imposition, but as an act of self-care. It is a recognition that every time you bypass the impulse to give in to comfort, you are investing in a future where you are more resilient, more capable, and more aligned with your purpose. The energy you need is always available within you. It just requires the right focus and the right habits to unlock it. Instead of accepting tiredness as a permanent state, you can choose to adopt practices that refresh your mind and body, such as setting clear priorities, taking short breaks to recharge, and engaging in activities that stimulate your passion and drive. By doing so, you create an environment where discipline becomes a habit that fuels your progress rather than drains your energy. There is a subtle yet powerful shift that happens when you begin to replace the notion of being tired with the idea of being disciplined. Every time you choose to honor your commitments and stick to your plan, you build momentum that carries you through even the most challenging times. That momentum is not simply about physical endurance. It is about a mental and emotional fortitude that grows stronger with each decision to move forward. You begin to realize that the discipline you build today lays the groundwork for a brighter, more successful tomorrow. It is an investment in yourself that pays dividends in the form of confidence, clarity, and an ever-increasing capacity to handle life's challenges. This journey is not about eliminating the need for rest. Rest is essential for recovery and overall well-being. Instead, it is about finding the balance between allowing yourself necessary downtime and committing to a routine that keeps you moving toward your goals. When you consciously choose discipline over the lure of, you reclaim the power to design your day in a way that maximizes your potential. You begin to understand that tiredness can be a temporary state, a sign that it is time to recalibrate your approach rather than an insurmountable barrier to success. As you move forward with this mindset, every day becomes an opportunity to prove to yourself that you are in control of your energy and your destiny. The habit of embracing discipline transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary, infusing each moment with purpose and possibility. In this state, the challenges you face become less daunting, and the victories you achieve become all the more meaningful. You learn that true strength lies not in avoiding tiredness, but in conquering it through the steady, unwavering commitment to your goals. This commitment is the cornerstone of a life that is rich with achievement, fulfillment, and lasting success. Number 8, your weaker self lives in your comfort zone. Get out of it. Every day you wake up with a choice, and deep down you know that living comfortably is not the same as living fully. There is a side of you that finds safety in staying where things are familiar and easy, and that side settles for less than what you are truly capable of. The truth is, when you spend too much time in your comfort zone, you give up the chance to discover the strength and potential that lie just beyond it. It is not about being reckless or discarding all that is known to you, but about daring to step into the unknown with confidence and purpose. When you decide to break free from the safe confines of what you already know, you allow yourself to grow in ways that would otherwise remain out of reach. This is a moment of reckoning, a time to realize that comfort is a temporary refuge, not a long-term plan for success. Picture yourself in a place where every day blends into the next, where nothing really challenges you, and every risk is sidestepped in favor of a secure but stagnant routine. That way of life might seem appealing at first, but deep down, you feel the weight of missed opportunities. Every moment spent avoiding a challenge is a moment lost from achieving something great. The comfort you feel now may provide immediate ease, but it also sets a trap that makes it difficult to ever taste the sweetness of progress. There is an energy, a vibrancy, that comes from facing uncertainty head-on and daring to leave the familiar behind. When you choose to venture out of your comfort zone, you open the door to experiences that can change your perspective, enrich your understanding, and bring a deeper sense of accomplishment. It is essential to understand that the comfort zone is not a permanent state, but a temporary shelter that can hinder your growth if you let it. In every aspect of life, there is a trade-off between security and progress. While the former may feel safe, it prevents you from reaching the next level of your potential. The habits that keep you anchored in the familiar are like chains that bind your capabilities, stopping you from exploring new horizons. Every decision to stay in your safe space reinforces the boundaries of your current reality, making it harder to break free later. But when you choose to move forward, even if the path is uncertain, you begin to dismantle those chains and step into a realm where growth is not just possible, but inevitable. When you start taking small steps outside your comfort zone, you begin to build confidence and resilience that can transform your entire life. It might be as simple as trying a new routine, engaging in conversations with people who inspire you, or setting a goal that pushes you beyond what you thought was possible. These actions create a ripple effect that not only alters the way you think, but also changes the way others see you. The energy that comes from embracing the unfamiliar is contagious. It can spark creativity, open up opportunities, and lead you to breakthroughs that would have otherwise remained hidden. The excitement of facing new challenges head-on builds a momentum that fuels your progress and sets you on a path toward a more rewarding future. In the midst of all this change, it is important to be gentle with yourself. Stepping out of the comfort zone is not about forcing yourself into uncomfortable situations for the sake of discomfort. It is about recognizing that true success lies on the other side of fear. The journey is filled with moments that test your resolve, but each step, no matter how small, is a victory that reinforces your ability to adapt and overcome. When you let go of the notion that comfort equates to safety, you begin to see that every challenge is an opportunity to build strength and character. The process is gradual, and it requires a consistent effort to rewire the way you think about risk and reward. With every new experience, you learn that failure is not the end, but a valuable lesson on the road to success. There is a profound sense of freedom that comes from choosing to leave behind what is comfortable. It is a liberation that allows you to pursue your goals without the constant fear of stepping out of line. When you embrace discomfort as a natural part of growth, you start to understand that the greatest rewards often come after the hardest climbs. This understanding shifts your focus from the fear of the unknown to the excitement of the possibilities that await. You learn that every moment of discomfort is a sign that you are pushing the limits of what you thought was possible. And that in itself is a cause for celebration. The transformation that occurs when you actively choose to live beyond the boundaries of your comfort zone is remarkable. You begin to see the world in a different light, one where opportunities abound and limitations are simply challenges waiting to be conquered. Your life takes on a new vibrancy, and you find yourself engaging with the world in a more dynamic and empowered way. The process of leaving behind the comfort zone is not easy, but it is the most rewarding journey you can embark on. It is a journey of self-discovery, growth, and ultimately fulfillment. Each day that you decide to move forward, despite the lure of familiarity, you build a legacy of resilience and determination that resonates with every step you take. This is your moment to break free from the invisible barriers that have held you back for so long. Embrace the adventure of exploring new territories within yourself and watch as the boundaries of your potential expand. The road ahead may be uncertain, but it is filled with promise and the opportunity to redefine what is possible. Every effort you make to step outside your comfort zone is a testament to your commitment to a richer, more dynamic life. And as you continue on this path, you will discover that the rewards of growth far outweigh the temporary comfort of staying in one place. Your journey is unique, and it starts with the decision to leave behind what no longer serves you and step boldly into a future where you can truly thrive. Number 9, nothing changes until you get serious. When you decide to get serious about your goals and your dreams, you unlock a potential within you that has been waiting for the moment when you stop playing small. It isn't about forcing yourself into a rigid routine or following a strict plan. It is about acknowledging that half-hearted attempts and endless hesitation will never yield the kind of transformation you are capable of. Real progress only happens when you decide that the time for excuses is over, that every moment you waste on uncertainty is a moment you could have invested in building the future you deserve. Think about the last time you felt that spark of determination, that drive to really go after something with everything you have. That feeling is the foundation of true change, and it comes from a place deep within where seriousness meets commitment. It's in that moment when you set aside all the doubts and fears that have been holding you back. The only way to move forward is to take a definitive stand. When you make the conscious choice to be serious about your life, you begin to see obstacles not as insurmountable barriers, but as challenges that will sharpen you and bring out the best in you. Every day, there are countless distractions that try to lure you away from what matters most. Whether it's the comfort of familiar routines or the easy escape of procrastination, these little habits combine to keep you from the hard work that real change demands. It's important to understand that these distractions are not the enemy. They are simply the default setting of the mind when it is not challenged to rise above mediocrity. The truth is that nothing changes until you get serious about breaking free from this default. When you allow yourself to be serious about your goals, you begin to create a new pattern, a pattern where every action is intentional, where every decision is a step towards something greater. This shift is not instant, but it is powerful, and it is exactly what you need to start moving in the direction of a more fulfilling life. Imagine waking up each day with a clear sense of purpose, where your actions align perfectly with your ambitions. In this state, every small victory, every bit of progress feels like a confirmation that you are on the right path. You no longer make excuses or settle for less because you understand that the best version of yourself is waiting just beyond your comfort zone. When you truly commit to being serious about your growth, you find that your mind becomes sharper, your decisions more confident, and your actions more focused. The energy that comes from this commitment is infectious. It propels you forward even on days when the going gets tough, and it creates a momentum that carries you through any setback. This is not about being perfect or having all the answers. It's about having the courage to keep moving forward even when the road ahead is uncertain. It is essential to realize that seriousness is not a state of mind you can simply switch on and off. It is a daily practice that requires you to be honest with yourself about your shortcomings and to recognize that every moment counts. The key is to develop habits that reinforce your commitment, habits that remind you that your time is valuable and that every action you take should bring you closer to your vision. Over time, these habits become the building blocks of a life filled with purpose and achievement. You start to see that the distance between where you are and where you want to be is bridged by the decisions you make every day, and that those decisions are driven by a level of seriousness that can transform even the smallest effort into something remarkable. When you get serious about your life, you also start to hold yourself accountable for every choice you make. This means not only celebrating your successes, but also learning from your failures. without letting them define you. Accountability is the cornerstone of growth. It forces you to examine your actions, adjust your strategies, and persevere despite any setbacks. It creates an environment where you no longer allow yourself to be swayed by temporary emotions or fleeting obstacles. You develop a disciplined approach that keeps you focused on the long-term benefits of your efforts. This discipline is what sets apart those who achieve lasting success from those who remain stuck in the cycle of indecision and regret. There is a profound sense of empowerment that comes from being serious about your future. It shifts your perspective and enables you to see opportunities where before you saw only challenges. The very act of committing to your goals sends a powerful message to yourself and to those around you. You are here to make a difference, and you are not willing to let anything stand in your way. With this mindset, every setback becomes a learning experience. Every obstacle a chance to grow, and every moment an opportunity to push beyond your limits. This is the mindset of someone who refuses to settle for mediocrity and who understands that real change is born from a relentless pursuit of excellence. Ultimately, getting serious about your life is about making the most of the time you have, knowing that each day is a precious gift that should be used to build the legacy you want to leave behind. It is a journey that demands unwavering dedication, but the rewards are immeasurable. With every step you take, you reinforce the truth that nothing truly changes until you decide to put your whole heart and soul into the pursuit of your dreams. And once you do, you will find that the life you once only imagined becomes your new reality. Number 10, if you don't eliminate the weaker you, it will eliminate your potential. Every decision you make shapes the person you become. And if you allow the weaker part of you to keep calling the shots, it will eventually choke the potential that lies within. There is a force inside you that holds you back, a habit of thought that clings to self-doubt and mediocrity, and if you never challenge it, that same force will take away the promise of what you could achieve. When you let this part of you run the show, you watch your dreams fade into the background, and every day that passes is a missed opportunity to build the future you've always imagined. The truth is, deep down, you know there is a more powerful, capable version of yourself waiting to emerge. It's the version that wakes up with energy, makes bold decisions, and doesn't allow fear or comfort to dictate its actions. But this better self is often smothered by habits that favor excuses over effort, by a mindset that chooses the path of least resistance, even when that path leads to stagnation. When you ignore this truth, you give that weaker side the permission it needs to take over your life. And over time, the promise of what you might become shrinks until it feels like you are living a life half lived. Imagine what it would be like if every day you chose to silence the negative thoughts and the self-imposed limitations that have held you back for so long. Picture yourself confidently stepping into situations that once intimidated you, tackling challenges head-on with a sense of purpose and determination. In that moment, you are not merely surviving, you are thriving, and your potential unfolds before your eyes. But if you allow that weaker self to remain, you risk watching your ambitions crumble under the weight of inaction. It becomes a cycle where each decision to settle reinforces the belief that greatness is out of reach. And that is the very barrier that keeps you from realizing the full extent of your abilities. It is important to understand that the struggle within is not something external you must overcome. It is right here inside you. Every time you give in to the temptation of ease or surrender to negative self-talk, you are, in essence, surrendering a piece of your potential. And every piece lost is a chance missed to be the person you're truly capable of becoming. This isn't about punishing yourself for being human. It's about acknowledging that real progress requires a constant, deliberate effort to keep pushing beyond what feels comfortable. The path to excellence is paved with choices that, while they might seem insignificant at the moment, collectively shape a future filled with possibility. When you choose to eliminate the weaker side, you begin a transformation that is both internal and visible to the world around you. You start to take actions that align with your highest aspirations instead of being governed by fleeting desires and temporary comforts. Every time you decide to take a risk, to try something new, or to simply move forward when everything inside you urges you to stop, you are reclaiming your potential. It is a gradual process, a series of moments that, when accumulated, build a bridge from where you are now to where you want to be. The journey might be challenging, and the lessons you learn along the way may be hard, but every step taken in defiance of your weaker self is a step toward a life of greater meaning and impact. In moments when self-doubt creeps in and the fear of failure whispers in your ear, remember that nothing worth achieving comes without the risk of stepping outside your comfort zone. The energy to change your life comes not from waiting for the perfect moment, but from taking decisive action now, even if the outcome is uncertain. The potential inside you is vast and waiting to be unleashed, but it requires that you make a conscious choice to no longer tolerate the limitations imposed by your own mind. Each day you resist the pull of mediocrity, you build a stronger foundation for success and fulfillment. The power to change your destiny lies in your hands, and the key to that power is the ability to silence the voice that tells you to settle. As you move forward, consider every challenge as an opportunity to prove to yourself that you are more than your fears. Let each setback serve as a reminder that failure is not a reflection of your worth, but a stepping stone on the path to greatness. When you focus on the potential within you, you begin to see obstacles not as dead ends, but as opportunities to learn and improve. That mindset shift is the catalyst for a life where your achievements speak for themselves. It is about creating a legacy built on perseverance and the relentless pursuit of excellence. Where every decision is a testament to your determination, the choice is yours. You can continue to let that weaker part of you define your actions, or you can take control and commit to unlocking the full extent of your abilities. Embracing the challenge means recognizing that the journey toward realizing your true potential is a daily battle against complacency. It requires an unwavering commitment to making decisions that elevate you, even when they are hard and uncomfortable. Every moment you choose to push forward, despite the allure of comfort, is a victory that contributes to a future filled with success, fulfillment, and limitless possibility. The path ahead is yours to create, and by eliminating the constraints of your weaker self, you open the door to a life that is as rich and rewarding as you have always dreamed.